The best thing about Japanese Scarlet and Violet 151 is absolutely positively the Master Balls, but have they now become disaster balls? Welcome back to the Chase Card, everybody. Today I want to look at the Japanese Scarlet and Violet 151 Master Ball Holos. Now obviously the big difference between the English 151 and the Japanese 151 is the Japanese has those beautiful Master Ball Holos which we wish as investors and collectors the English set would have done. Unfortunately you can only get them in the Japanese. We all know this. Today I want to look at the top 10 Master Ball Holos from the Japanese 151 set. Obviously with the Japanese 151 huge reprint going on right now, it has absolutely obliterated the booster box price. So what has it done to the Master Ball Holo prices? Did you pay way too much? Did you buy the Master Ball Holos when they're at their absolute peak? In which case for you, maybe it was an absolute disaster ball rather than a Master Ball. Today I'm going to look at the top 10 Master Ball Holos from Japanese 151 to see what the prices are doing and see if they're worth picking up anytime soon. Stay tuned. Okay, getting straight into it, guys. Like I said, the 10 most expensive Master Ball Holos from the Japanese Scarlet and Violet 151. Flareon, the 10th most expensive Master Ball Holo is the Flareon. I'll just give you guys the heads up straight away. Of these top 10 cards, 8 of those, minus the 2 most expensive one, the other 8 are all between sort of $38 and $50 raw. So if you want to skip past toward the back end of the video, that's fine. But bear with me. I'm going to go through some of the PSA 10 and PSA 9 prices and that sort of thing. Now, if we look at the Flareon here, $38 raw, ungraded, right? Ungraded. It had an all-time high back in July last year of $85. So this thing's dropped more than half of its value, gone. Now, obviously, guys, we know why, right? You don't need to be a rocket scientist here. We know that the Japanese 151 is going through a massive reprint right now. We know that. We know that the booster box price has come off significantly, almost by like 2/3 here in Australia. We were paying 250 to 300 Australian dollars for our Japanese 151 booster boxes. Now I can get them for 110, and I think I'll be able to get them slightly cheaper. But 110 Australian is about 72 American dollars. I'd be pretty happy picking up a few at that price, even if they come down slightly more than that. But anyway, I don't want to go off track. These are the top 10 Master Balls. The Flareon, more than halved in price in the last year, or just under a year. The PSA 10, $73. So raw 38, PSA 10, $73. So not even double the price for a PSA 10 copy. A common theme with a lot of my videos when I'm talking about single cards is that I don't necessarily mention them for strong investment reasons, but more so just if you like the cards and you're looking to collect it at a good price. That's really what this video is for. Just to kind of put the spotlight on what the price is doing, keep you guys informed. If you don't have time in your day-to-day lives to track all this stuff, I'm happy to do it for you if you just tune in. The graded 9.5, now get this, the 9.5 in a Flareon, now that wouldn't be a PSA because PSA don't do halves, so that might be Beckett and so on, but 9.5 grading is $33. The raw card's $38. That makes no sense. So with some of these, I would say it's probably not bad value just picking up a PSA 10, or if you're okay to buy a 9 or a 9.5, I don't see any reason why. I would just go the PSA 10 personally, but you're paying sort of $35 more for a PSA 10. Once you take into consideration postage and grading costs, it's worth picking up just a PSA 10 if you like this Flareon. But in saying that, guys, I think these card prices have a bit of declining still. I think they're going to go down a bit more still. I'm not making any predictions, but we'll see, right? Jolteon. Moving on, the 9th most expensive Master Ball Holo. This Jolteon, $40 ungraded. Like I said, the first 8 I'm going to show you are between 38 and 50. There's not much in it, though the PSA 10 prices vary a bit. This Jolteon, $40 ungraded. In a 9.5 grading, you're at $47, so $7 more for a 9.5. And if you didn't want to fork out money for PSA 10s, like almost the same price for a 9 or 9.5, why would you buy it raw? Why would you buy it raw? There's literally no point. The PSA 10, $83. So the PSA 10 going for just over double the price of the raw card for that Jolteon. So let me flick back here. Let me flick back to this Jolteon. So this had an all-time high of $58. It's down to $40. That was January 2024 was its all-time high. So the start of the year. So it's dropped off $18. Hasn't dropped off as much as that Flareon that we saw. And here's the Gyarados. This is $41.50. Raw PSA 10, $87. So again, this is going for just over double the price in a PSA 10. A 9.5 is going for about $17 more than the raw card. And the PSA 9 is going for about $10 to $11 more than the raw card. Now this had an all-time high. Like I said, it's currently $41.50. This had an all-time high raw recently. Its all-time high was actually in March. And that was $69, just shy of $70. So $69 down to $41. So a lot's been wiped off that. Not quite half, maybe about 40%. But you can see a common theme with all these guys. Like obviously all these prices are going to have dropped with that big reprint, right? And the booster box getting cheaper. Obviously that's going to filter through to these singles. So I hope you didn't pay an absolute premium when these Master Balls were at their most expensive. I know some of you guys really wanted to collect as many Master Balls as you could. But now the idea of this video, I think, is at the end of this video, take the information I give you, and if you like any of these, if you're really looking to pick any of these up, just to keep monitoring the market. I don't think it's hit the bottom yet, guys. I don't think it's hit the bottom yet. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it doesn't show any signs that the decrease in price is sort of hit the bottom yet. So I think there'll be even better opportunities to keep your eyes on your favorite ones and pick them up in the near future. Yeah. Moving on, this Magikarp. This is the, what did I say, 10, 9, 8, 7th most expensive card. $42 ungraded, very similar to the others. PSA 10, $78, 9.5, $62. So like I said, raw, this is $42. Had an all-time high in January, again at the start of the year. We're in late May now, mid to late May now. $77 back in January, and now $42. So that's come off almost half. I'm not going to put exact percentages, it's not the point. I think that's about 45%, almost half. Eevee. This is one I wouldn't mind picking up. The Eevee. I don't mind the old Eevee. $45 raw. In a PSA 10, you're paying just under double at $86. Again, I think these prices will come down, and if this Eevee Master Ball comes down a little bit more, I'll look for a leveling out, and then I'll pick it up in a PSA 10 myself. I'm not going to bother getting it raw and then paying to get it graded, and maybe it comes back in a 9. I'll just buy the PSA 10 because the markup for this card to a PSA 10 is not crazy. 9.5, graded 9.5, going for $67. Now, like I said, the raw card is $45. Had an all-time high, I don't know if you can see that here, December 2023. So about 5.5, 6 months ago, this thing was $83. So again, same theme as the other ones. It's come off almost half. But that's the Eevee. Again, that's one I really like out of these top 10. That's one I'll be looking to pick up at some point. Here's the Erica's Invitation Master Ball Holo. Or should we say Disaster Ball Holo, as far as these cards are concerned at the moment. It would have been an absolute disaster if you picked up as many of these as you could. You were trying to collect them and you paid double this price. I feel for you. I think if any of you watching have bought these at a really high price, I think long term you're going to be okay, but you might have some short term pain knowing that you could have got them a lot cheaper. For $47 for the Erica's Invitation. Had an all-time high. It's hard to believe that this has been out for almost a year. I think it was June last year, 2023. Almost 1 year that this set's been out. It doesn't feel like it's been out that long. $146 this was going for back in July last year. Wow. This is one of the biggest drops. This is one of the biggest drops on this list. Some of the others have gone down sort of, by about half. This thing's gone from $146 down to $47. This thing's basically had $100 wiped off it. Damn, boy. That's some insane drop. So $47 raw. It actually commands a premium still in a PSA 10. $132 for a PSA 10. So that's almost 3 times. That's almost 300%, something like 270, 280%, something like that, to get a PSA 10. Whereas we've seen some of the others, it's less than double or about double for the PSA 10. This thing's almost 3 times the price of a raw card for the PSA 10. And the 9.5 is $2 cheaper than the 10. Why would you bother? Just get the 10. Grading in a 9 is 77, so raw 47, 9 77, and PSA 10 132. So there's the Erica's Invitation. Not one I'm super keen to get my hands on. I'm not really fussed either way about that one. But if you like it, there you go. That's the current price. Keep an eye on it. I think it's got further to drop. Like I said, I think most of these have further to drop. There's the Dragonite, a bit of a fan favourite. This is the 10th, 9th, 8th. I've even lost count we're up to. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. This is the 4th most expensive card. So there's 3 more expensive ones over this, okay? The 4th most expensive card, the Dragonite. Not a bad Pokemon, the old Dragonite. Like I said, it's a bit of a fan favourite. Now, this is $48 ungraded, raw. In a PSA 10, $102. So a similar theme to a lot of the others where it's just over double for the PSA 10. The 9.5 is $63 and a 9 is $57, if you can see that there. I'm not even going to talk about the 8s or below 9s. Like the 9s are lucky to get an honourable mention. I'm more interested in PSA 10s as far as modern cards go, if I'm being honest. So there you go, $48 raw, $102 in a PSA 10. Here's the 3rd most expensive card. Now I am a bit of a Mewtwo fan, so this is one that I'll be keeping an eye on and picking up soon. Again, I'm going to wait a bit longer. I think there's a bit more price drop to happen in some of these cards, a bit more of a price drop to happen. And this is one that I will be picking up at some point. I do like Mewtwo. That's $50 raw. A PSA 10 is $93. So less than double the price to get the PSA 10. So that's not a bad markup from a buyer's point of view. I'll probably just buy these straight out in the PSA 10. I think I can get the PSA 10 cheaper than $93. I think, I might pick this up around that $70 or $80 mark US. Maybe about 110 Australian dollars. In the next month or two. Like I said, I'll keep an eye on these prices. But there's the Mewtwo. In a 9, it's $56, which is $6 more than the raw card. In a 9.5, it's $92. Again, why would you bother getting a 9.5 if you're going to make this purchase? Because it's literally $1 more for the PSA 10 over a 9.5. I don't know who's buying these things at 9.5s for a similar price to a 10. It's ridiculous. Here's the 2nd most expensive Master Ball Holo, the Gengar. Now, people love Gengar. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know I think Gengar is shite. Pardon the French. Gengar, I have no love. I'm sorry, Gengar. I've got no love for Gengar. If you love Gengar, no offense, go nuts. $151. So we jump up significantly now. So the last 8 were between $38 and $50, and now we jump up $151 for the 2nd most expensive Master Ball Holo. Now this had an all-time high. I think I missed some of the all-time highs in the other ones for you guys. Sorry about that. But the moral of the story is they've all come down a lot, right? $240 this thing was going for at the start of the year, this Gengar. And $151 raw now, okay? $259 for a PSA 10. So like I said, raw was $239 at the start of the year. Now PSA 10's $259. So only $20 more now for a PSA 10 than what the raw price was commanding, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. So there you go, $108 more for the PSA 10 over the raw. $200 in a 9.5, $192 in a 9. But again, this thing's come down from $240 to $151 for the raw version. Now, the most expensive Master Ball Holo from Japanese 151, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Let's have a look at what it's doing. The Pikachu Master Ball Holo, $218. This thing had a high back in December of 2023. Again, about 5-6 months ago. Very similar theme to the others, so far as the timeline goes, from when these things started to drop. So $380 5-6 months ago, down to $218 now. And in fact, the PSA 10 is $340 US. That's $40 cheaper for the PSA 10 than what the raw price was commanding 5-6 months ago at the start of the year. So this is one that, pardon me, this Pikachu Master Ball Holo, this is really, if you do collect singles at all, this is really a must-have. Like, you know, there's one Master Ball Holo, there's one guaranteed Master Ball Holo in every Japanese 151 booster box. So the chances of you pulling one of these is very difficult if you're just going to keep buying booster boxes chasing this card. Wait for this Pikachu to drop a bit more, which I think it will, like I keep saying. But if it starts to correct, you know, look at jumping on it. Start putting some money aside. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. You don't have to copy me. This Pikachu will absolutely at some point be going into my collection this year in a PSA 10. This is an absolute must for every collection. I think over the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, having a PSA 10 or a Beckett 10, a BGS 10 or something equivalent with this Pikachu Master Ball Holo is going to be really, really, really sought after. And this card price has dropped a ton. Just to reiterate, $380 for the raw card down to $218. In a 9.5, it's $330. In a 9, it's $253. Again, it's $7 more for a PSA 10 over a 9.5. You know, BGS 9.5 or wherever they're getting their data from. BGS is probably the next bigger one after PSA, I dare say. There you go. So that's about, I think that's about $550 Australian dollars from my Aussie neighbours for a PSA 10. Now, this thing was selling in Australia for about $750 and more in a PSA 10. So it's come off a couple $100 in a PSA 10. But again, I'm not going to rush out and grab this now. I am going to monitor the market. I think the single card prices with that massive booster box, or that massive 151 reprint rather, these singles are going to continue to drop. And this is a perfect example. This is the perfect example of not rushing out and doing all that FOMO investing, you know, buying all these singles because this is the best set in years. Awesome set. 151 is such an awesome set. We all know that. That goes without saying. You don't need to watch this video to know how awesome 151 is. But this is a perfect example of not rushing out and buying singles. Just don't pay too much. Never pay too much for FOMO. Just wait. Just wait. You never know if a reprint's going to come. You never know how much these singles are going to crash. Now I can buy 3 Pokemon booster boxes, 151 booster boxes, for almost the same price as what I could have bought one booster box 3 months ago. And these singles, most of them have basically halved in price. So great time to keep your eyes on it. Maybe don't rush out and buy it in May, but between, you know, June, July, August, keep an eye on these singles. And if you've got a favourite out of these Master Balls that you're keeping your eyes on, I think there'll be a good opportunity in the coming weeks and months to pick them up a bit cheaper than this. Let me know in the comments. Give me your feedback. What's your favourite Master Ball Holo? Are you accumulating Japanese 151 booster boxes? Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all your support. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.